Something's brewing in the NFC South, and it could change everything. There's a storm forming, not over the stadium, but within the rosters, the war rooms, the locker rooms. And right in the eye of that storm is the Atlanta Falcons, a team that's been quietly building, waiting, and now, finally ready to strike. For years, Falcons fans have held their breath, rebuilding, resetting, waiting for the spark. And now, as the 2025 season nears, that spark might finally be catching fire. The division is shifting beneath our feet. Power is up for grabs. Old kings are falling. New ones are rising. And the Falcons, yes, our Falcons, might be stepping into a moment that could define the next decade. Because behind the scenes, something massive is unfolding. We're not just talking about minor signings or hopeful draft picks. We're talking about seismic changes, quarterback movement, trade rumors, and a potential reshuffling of power in the NFC South that could either open a clear path to the playoffs or slam the door shut. Let's break it down. The Atlanta Falcons have been building smart. Strong drafts, youth development, quiet confidence. The roster is starting to gel. The energy around this team feels different, not desperate, but dangerous. But in a league where momentum can shift in a single offseason, the Falcons know they can't afford to sit still. And that brings us to a surprising twist: the growing buzz around Kirk Cousins. Now, Cousins might not wear a Falcons jersey, but his name is connected to a potential chain reaction that could impact Atlanta in a big way. Here's the situation. Reports suggest Cousins, now 36, could be on the move again. And if he ends up with the Cleveland Browns, it won't just affect Cleveland. It'll shake up the quarterback carousel across the league, and the Falcons might be next in line to make a move. Cleveland's QB room is overcrowded. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders. At first glance, it looks like they have options. But dig deeper, and things aren't so simple. Deshaun Watson, once considered the face of the Browns' future, is now a major question mark. Coming off an injury, and with rumors swirling about the front office losing faith, the writing might be on the wall. A recent insider report claimed Browns owner Jimmy Haslam admitted the Watson deal was a swing and a miss. Let that sink in. A franchise openly acknowledging its $230 million gamble might be over? That's not just a rumor. That's a crack in the foundation. And when teams like Cleveland are vulnerable, sharp organizations like Atlanta start circling. If Watson is done in Cleveland, if Cousins ends up there, and if the Browns decide to offload talent to rebuild again, it opens the door for teams like the Falcons to pounce. This isn't just about Cousins. It's about the chain reaction he could start. It's about opportunity. Because in this league, you don't wait for your moment. You take it. And right now, Atlanta might be one smart move away from flipping their future on its head. Let's not sugarcoat it. Something is clearly shifting inside the Cleveland Browns' organization. Deshaun Watson was supposed to be their guy, the franchise quarterback, the centerpiece of a new era. But now, the silence around him is louder than ever. And when the owner of the team, Jimmy Haslam himself, reportedly calls the trade a swing and a miss, you don't need a press release to know what's coming. They're looking to move on. That leaves Cleveland with a quarterback room in total chaos. They've got Kenny Pickett, brought in by trade, but that move came before the Browns drafted 2 more quarterbacks just weeks ago. That's not confidence. That's panic. That's hedging every bet you can. They still have Joe Flacco, but he's 40. He's a great mentor, not your 17-game starter. Then there's Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders, 2 rookies who are full of upside, but not ready to take over an NFL team tomorrow. And so, that brings us to Kirk Cousins, the veteran, the steady hand, the quarterback who's seen it all and still wants more. Yes, he's 36. No, he's not elite anymore. But make no mistake, he's still a starting caliber quarterback in this league. A guy who wants to lead. A guy who won't settle for being a backup clipboard holder. And here's where it gets interesting. Rumors say Cousins has already had conversations with Atlanta. He reportedly met with owner Arthur Blank, making his case for one more shot, one more chance to lead a team with real potential. Now, whether that meeting actually happened, or whether it was part of ongoing league chatter, one thing is certain. If Kirk Cousins is available, the Falcons should be paying attention. The Browns would have to trade him. But remember, Cousins has a no-trade clause. He controls his next move. And he's not going anywhere he doesn't want to be. He wants a fresh start. And he wants to start. And honestly, could Atlanta be the perfect fit? Let's look at the numbers. Last season, even through a roller coaster year, Cousins still threw for over 3,500 yards and 18 touchdowns. Yes, the 16 interceptions were rough, a career high, but that's not unusual for a player on a team struggling to protect him or give him rhythm. You go back to 2022, and it's a different story. 4,500 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 picks. That's a Pro Bowl level season. Put that guy on a team like the Falcons, with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson in the backfield? That's a dangerous offense, just waiting for a steady QB to unlock it. And we're not even talking about a full rebuild. This is a team that's been quietly stacking talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Players like Grady Jarrett and A.J. Terrell are already in place. The defensive unit is young, improving, and aggressive. So what happens if you drop in a proven veteran quarterback into this mix? You stop being a team trying to find its identity, and you become a team ready to win right now. The real question isn't if Cousins can help Atlanta. The real question is this: do the Falcons believe that time is now? Or are they still afraid to take the risk? This team isn't just building for the future anymore. They're building for right now. Special teams? Solid. Defense? Fast, aggressive, and improving every week. And the offense? One smart move away from being a full-blown threat. The Atlanta Falcons have been putting the puzzle together piece by piece. And now, they might be just one quarterback away from taking over a division that's wide open and waiting to be claimed. Let's be honest, the NFC South has become a war of transition. The Buccaneers are clinging to what's left of their identity after Brady. The Saints are stuck in limbo, not quite rebuilding, not quite contending. And Carolina is still trying to figure out who they are in the post-Cam Newton era. That leaves Atlanta, younger, faster, and hungrier, sitting on a golden opportunity. All they need is the right trigger, the right voice in the huddle, the right leader under center. Yes, the Falcons have invested in young quarterbacks. They've drafted with care and long-term vision. But this league isn't built on patience alone. It's built on winning in the moment. And that's why Kirk Cousins makes so much sense. He's not flashy. He's not the future. But he's the kind of veteran presence who knows how to command a locker room, control a game, and get the ball to his playmakers when it matters most. In tight playoff races, experience matters. In 2-minute drills, it matters. In the final weeks of the season, when every snap could decide the postseason, it matters. And Cousins has been there. He's seen it. He's led teams into battle. He doesn't need to be a superstar in Atlanta. He just needs to be the steady hand that gets the most out of stars like Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. All weapons just waiting for the right general to lead them. But let's not ignore the hurdles. Cousins' no-trade clause complicates things. Any deal would need his blessing. But all signs point to one truth. He wants to play. He wants to start. And more than anything, he wants to win. Atlanta, with its rising roster, strong culture, and bold front office, might be the perfect landing spot. Because this franchise? It's not scared to swing big. We've seen it before. When the right opportunity shows up, this front office doesn't hesitate. And if they believe Cousins is the final piece, you better believe they'll go after him. Now zoom out and think about what this means for the entire NFC South. Atlanta isn't chasing anymore. If they land a proven QB, they become the favorites. They stop playing catch-up and start setting the pace. In fact, some analysts are already whispering it. With a stronger offense and veteran leadership, the Falcons could leap straight into the playoff picture. not as underdogs, but as legit contenders. But it all comes down to execution. That's where the coaching staff steps in. Led by a head coach who's determined to bring back winning football, and an offensive coordinator designing a system built around speed, motion, and balance. This is the kind of scheme that can elevate an entire team. Cousins wouldn't have to do everything. He'd just have to run the machine, and that might be the final key to unlocking Atlanta's full potential. Of course, it won't be easy. The NFC is loaded with giants like San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Detroit. There's no free ride to the top. But here's the truth. If the Falcons make this move, they're not just hoping to compete, they're preparing to win. And if they don't, they might miss their best window in years. The Atlanta Falcons are standing on the edge of something big. Young talent? Check. A rising defense? Check. Explosive weapons on offense? Absolutely. All that's missing now is the right leader to tie it all together. And if Kirk Cousins is seriously considering Atlanta, this team could go from rebuilding to ready to win now in a flash. But here's the truth. This isn't a done deal. Not even close. Cousins holds all the power. His no-trade clause means he decides where he goes. And the money? That's another hurdle. Atlanta would have to find room in the budget, and they'd need to be sure it's worth it. No team can afford to miss on a move this big. So the Falcons have a choice to make, and it's a tough one. Do they double down on their future and let their young quarterbacks grow naturally? Or do they roll the dice on a proven veteran, a player who could instantly change the culture, speed up the process, and push this team into playoff contention right now? There's no safe answer. This is the NFL. You either take the risk or someone else takes your spot. Imagine what this team could look like in Week 1 of 2025. Cousins at quarterback, running a clean, precise offense. Bijan Robinson breaking tackles in the open field. Drake London stretching defenses. Kyle Pitts terrorizing linebackers. And a defense that's faster, deeper, and nastier than it's been in years. That's not a fantasy. That could be the Falcons' reality. But it all comes down to this offseason. And this moment. This isn't just about Kirk Cousins. This is about Atlanta deciding what kind of team it wants to be. Will they play it safe and stay the course? Or will they grab the wheel and drive towards something bigger? Because here's the thing, opportunities like this don't come around often. And if the Falcons strike now, they could set themselves up not just for a playoff run, but for years of sustained success. Of course, the fans are watching, waiting, hoping. And now, I want to hear your voice. Is Kirk Cousins the missing piece? Is this the move that finally gets Atlanta over the hump? Or do you think the team should trust the young guys and keep building from within? This debate is real, and it matters. Because this decision could shape the future of the franchise. The NFC South is about to become one of the most intense divisions in football. The Bucs, the Saints, the Panthers, they're all evolving. But if the Falcons make the right move at quarterback, they could take over. So sound off. Let it rip in the comments. And whatever happens, this offseason is far from over. Atlanta has already proven they're not afraid to make bold moves. But now is the time to go all in. Stay locked in. Stay fired up. And remember, this isn't just football. This is Falcons football, and the future is wide open.